Yes. Welcome to the Free Will Experience. I'm your host, Free Will. I have a special guest in the house today, Shining Free.
Yeah, as always, love and respect.
The Free Will Experience is just a conversational piece where we'll talk about life, love, support, spirituality, purpose, commitment. Those are the things we'll touch on during these episodes. Today we're going to touch a little bit on sexual experience and how detrimental it can be in today's society.
Yeah, so when I was 14 years old, this is when I first started to masturbate, you dig, man?
Right.
And growing up in Trinidad and Tobago, I know you're from Brooklyn, right?
Yes, East New York in the
Yeah,
house.
salute to Brooklyn. But growing up in Trinidad and Tobago, we didn't really watch TV and things like that. We didn't really go up with no phone and things like that.
Right.
So we used to be playing plenty outside, in the jungle, in nature, climbing mango trees and things.
Right.
And I left Trinidad when I was 14 years old. And I came to America where it was TV, video games, and all these things like that.
Right.
So this is where I was introduced to pornography and masturbation. You dig, man? At 14 years old. This is when I had my first sexual experience. 14 years old, I was watching pornography and masturbating. And the first time I masturbated, right, like that feeling when you ejaculate,
Right.
it felt so good that most of my life, all I did was wanted to feel that feeling. You dig, man?
Right.
Like that sexual experience, it wasn't with a woman, but it felt so good pleasing myself that most of my life I was chasing after that feeling, after that sex, after that nut,
Right.
I was having purposeless sex with myself.
A lot of people are having purposeless sex. I think we've all had it throughout our lives.
Right.
Here. But it's not where you've been, is where you're going, right?
True.
So how can that, when you talk about that, right, how can that affect you spiritually, though?
Well, when I first started masturbating, right, to me, the feeling was so good, it felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
So I would say when I was 14, I masturbated. So when I was like 22, this is when it really started to affect me,
Right.
It's because I started to have low self-esteem.
Right.
Before, when I was a kid, right, I was full of energy. I could climb a mango tree
Right.
in like 5 seconds, bro. You think, man? But 5 years into masturbating, I started to feel like low energy, less motivated.
Right.
I started to feel anxiety, depression. I didn't really want to be around people and things like that. You dig, man?
Right.
So the symptoms I started to feel. But I still wanted to chase the sexual experience, because it was feeling so good. But it was destroying me at the same time, you dig, man?
Right.
So I would say anxiety and depression, social anxiety. Like, I started to really isolate myself from everybody, you dig, man?
Right.
Because when you masturbating in a room, right, you in this dark room by yourself, watching pornography and masturbating, you keeping a secret. You have a secret to yourself, and only you know the secret. So when you masturbate and you go around your friends, you go around your family, you in public, you feel like they know what you're doing.
Right.
You dig, man?
Absolutely.
And this is what spiritually we're gonna catch up on that, but this is the symptoms you start to feel within 5 years of masturbating and things.
Right. And so, most people, right, they have a professional life.
Right.
They have a private life.
Yes.
And they have a secret life.
Yeah.
So, and not too many people are privy to their secrets.
Right.
And most people bring a lot of people into their private life that don't even deserve to be in their private life.
Yes.
Okay. And then you have your professional life is what you present to the world that you interact with. Right. So a lot of us have that secret life that we are going, having that purposeless sex, masturbating, sneaking around with, different women or men, depending on, what these people do today.
Yes.
We're not judging anybody. We just, want to help if we can, and having a conversation that's impactful. But that purposeless sex and it leading down a road of spiritual destruction. And can you talk a little bit about that destruction, that spiritual suicide?
Right. So when I was 14, right, and I first masturbated, I felt good, but when I first ejaculated, right, it was guilt there.
Right.
It was like I felt like this is not something that you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
So
absolutely.
That first time I ejaculated, I was committing spiritual suicide.
Right.
And it's because I'm killing my spirit.
Yep.
I started to kill my spirit at 14 years old.
Right.
Some people out there start masturbating at 10, 11,
right.
12. They already start committing spiritual suicide already. Because sex is spiritual. When you ejaculate, right, it's spiritual first and then in the physical.
Right.
It's
right.
really serious. Like, sex is the most powerful thing in the world,
Right.
When you getting ready to have some sex, you get all the energy out everywhere to
Oh yeah, to put in your best work.
Right, to put in your best work. So sex is the most powerful. You dig, man?
For real.
So it's like the spiritual suicide. It really start the first time you masturbate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the masturbation gonna lead you to wanting promiscuous sex.
Yeah.
So now you looking at women, and if it's a woman, she looking at a man like as a sexual object, because now you committing spiritual suicide, so your spirit is dimming, your light is dimming, right?
Right.
So now everything is on the surface. We supposed to have a spiritual connection with each other, right?
Right.
But now it's all flesh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at you like, damn, I will hit that.
Right.
Right. And the thing is, when we is in our room masturbating, right, the spiritual suicide too is in the spiritual realm too. Because when we is masturbating, right, we don't know that it have demonic spirits in the room with us. Succubus and incubus spirit in the room with us. And we might masturbate and ejaculate and we feel like we feeling good, but these demons is waiting for you to ejaculate. Soon as you ejaculate, they fly off with your semen. It's spiritual, so you can't really see it.
Right.
But they fly off with your semen and they open up doors for the other demonic friends to creep in.
Right.
And this is part of the spiritual suicide too,
Right.
When them demons come in their life, they bring anxiety, depression, low self-esteem,
Exactly.
And it start to really corrupt your spirit, and it take you down a lustful path that some people don't recover from. Some people die from that path.
Right. No. And we've seen it, and we've been on that path at some point in time.
Right.
The question really becomes is, what is the number one thing that you would need to do to get back on the right path spiritually?
Well, the number one thing to do is to really gain control of your mind.
Right.
Because your mind is the most powerful thing on this planet, you dig, man?
Right.
Combined with sex.
Right.
And you have to gain control of your mind. You really need the Most High God, Christ, in your life to help you overcome, these trials and tribulations. I call pornography, masturbating, promiscuous sex trials and tribulations.
Agree.
And we need a higher power to overcome these things. So the main thing you have to do to overcome is to be disciplined.
Yep.
To preserve your sexual energy, because your sexual energy, your sexual energy is the powerful thing. So why give it up?
Right.
Why have purposeless sex?
Yeah.
Why have purposeless masturbation? So preserve your sexual energy. Hold your sex, whoa.
For real. When you value yourself, because you talked about the things that I think open the door up for demonic spirits and just evil, is depression, anxiety, stuff like that is coming from that things you're doing sexually a lot of times. It lowers your self-esteem, things of that nature. that create these situations that we're talking about. But like you said, when you're you start preserving your sexual energy, you got to say to yourself, who is worthy of you sharing this with?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like when
yeah.
you value yourself, then you start eliminating all of those things that are of no value,
Yes.
right? And so you got to say, man, if this is one of the most important things to help me build spiritually, why would I just share it with random people? You know, just giving it away.
Right.
And once we start to see that, we can change things overnight.
Yes.
As a people, we could change things overnight if we preserve that sexual energy.
Facts. Yeah, so you say overnight, right? So
Right.
the thing is, I masturbated from when I was 14 years old
Right.
till I was like 35 years old.
Right.
So, these years of masturbation, having promiscuous sex, and, somebody give me a message to preserve my sexual energy,
Right.
celibacy.
Mhm.
And in 7 days, I was a brand new person.
Right.
In
right.
7 days.
Look at that.
Yeah.
We got to say that if we believe that God creates miracles, right? So you got to say that that's a miracle.
Yes.
Because you want 20 years, 20 years of promiscuous sex, masturbation, pornography, 20 years.
20.
And in 7 days, it changed your life.
Yes.
And, that's a testament that, that you could testify to, that for sure is a game changer here
Yes.
while we here on this planet.
Yes. Celibacy, preserving your sexual energy is the game changer,
Yes.
the number one game changer. Because sex is powerful.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
I want to say something about anxiety and depression.
Right.
So when you go to the doctor and you tell them you have anxiety and depression, they don't have a cure for it.
No cure.
So they just give you a pill. But the cure is preserving your sexual energy.
Absolutely.
Because anxiety and depression, it come from having promiscuous sex, from masturbating. It's demonic spirits involved in promiscuous sex and masturbating.
Right. So when you go to the doctor and they give you a pill, and like I said, we're just having a conversation, right?
Right.
So they give you a pill. This is based off our opinion, right? They give you a pill. This person that's giving you the pill, they read it somewhere in the book that says that they should prescribe this to you.
Right.
Or, the big pharma companies are saying, we need to push this medication, right?
Yes.
And then when you look up the side effects from all of these pills, you got more problems after you taking the pill. You still got anxiety and depression, but now you got other issues because it
Yes.
affects your kidneys, your livers, different things that happens when you start taking these pills. So, we got to look at the holistic approach, right?
Right.
And the spiritual approach.
Yeah.
Right. And I couldn't agree with you more. I believe that preserving your sexual energy will elevate you, okay, in this world, okay, and it will help you because you're trying to find your purpose. This will help guide you to your purpose. I'm positive on it.
True.
That message has helped me drastically in my life. Today it has changed me, okay. And it has given me more purpose in
Right.
this life, and it has allowed me to eliminate things of no value.
Right. That's a fact. That's a fact, though. Preserving your sexual energy. Purposeless sex. I'm going to say this too, right? So we might be in a relationship, in a marriage, and we could still be having purposeless sex.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you're in a marriage relationship, you could still be chasing a ejaculation, chasing a
Right.
nut,
Right.
and this will destroy your relationship, your marriage, because you looking at your wife, your husband, like as a sex object. You dig, man? Like you ain't see any depths in them
Yeah.
because you just chasing a nut from them. You chasing that
Absolutely.
pleasure from them, And
Absolutely.
we supposed to be chasing the spiritual side of things so we could build. Real talk, though.
No,
We have to build in the spirit.
You are absolutely 110% correct.
Yeah.
Okay. The number one reasons why a lot of marriages end in divorce here in America is due to infidelity.
Right.
You know, and some from financial circumstances, things of that nature. So if your marriage is ended from any of those things, it's because spiritually y'all weren't, right together.
Facts.
I've been with my wife now for going on almost 30 years, since teenagers basically, and we've had those.
That's a blessing, though. I have to
Yeah,
say that.
man.
I'm blessed, dog. Hey.
For real, nah, it's a big blessing.
Blessed.
Man. And we've grown together. We've had ebbs and flows throughout that journey, I gotta say, man, when you're looking for intimacy, it can't always be sexual,
Right.
okay? Because there's so many other ways of building that intimacy. Because when you build it outside of the sexual piece, you start to learn the person better, because y'all start to connect better spiritually,
Right.
and that's what we here to do.
Yeah, that's a fact, though. You see, when you build the spiritual part, right? These what people don't know. The same orgasm and the
Right,
same,
right.
what do you call it? The connection, the feeling.
Right,
It could be pleasure in the spirit, too.
right,
You know?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's pleasure when you is disciplined, when you is sexually disciplined, and you and your partner could look at each other in all their eyes. You dig, man?
Absolutely.
Your partner might melt.
Right. Listen,
man, real
me and
talk,
my
man.
wife can go on a walk around our community, okay?
Right.
And that was intimate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We shared a level of intimacy just on the walk.
Right. And it was better than sex.
Yeah.
It was better than sex.
because we were able to build.
Yeah.
You understand? We're building on something, on the things we want to do, the things we want to see, in ourselves spiritually.
Yeah.
Growth. We're talking about growth. Like, we're having those intimate conversations that you don't have if you're having sex all the time.
Right.
So it just opens up to more conversation, and opens up to more understanding
So
of the
true.
person. And that's another thing. We don't take the time to learn the person that we're with. And that's another reason why we end up, when we start to see that person for who they are, we like, hey, we don't like this person.
Right. Because we was just looking at them for sex.
That's it.
You looking
That's
at
it.
them for sex for 10 years. And then you like, okay,
Right.
the sex is finished.
Right.
I seen you naked
Right,
a million
right,
times already
right,
know,
right.
But we've been neglecting the spirit.
Right.
So
right.
it's like, I don't want to be with you no more. Because
Absolutely.
we never build anything,
I agree 100%.
Never build nothing. And we're going to talk about spiritual blindness too.
Yeah. Right.
When you're watching pornography, masturbating, and you having promiscuous sex,
Right.
you become spiritually blind. So a good person might be in front of you, and you will push that good person at the side to go and
Right.
chase lust, to go and chase Jezebel, to go and chase Ahab,
Right.
And the
right.
good people say, oh, I'm trying to find a good person. The good person be right in front of them sometimes, but the sex, if you ain't sexually disciplined, that good person gonna be right in front of you, and you gonna miss your good person.
Absolutely.
You gonna miss your husband, you gonna miss your wife right there, because you want to
Absolutely.
chase sex. And like Free Will say, we ain't judging you. We want you to build, we want you to elevate, preserve your sexual energy and build together. Whoa.
Absolutely.
Real
And all
talk,
across
though.
the board,
Right.
single, married, whatever your status is, preserve your sexual energy, build the intimacy spiritually.
Right.
Okay. And you'll see that union, when it's made in the spiritual realm, it can't be broken.
Right.
Can't be broken.
Yeah.
Y'all are fit to deal with anything that happens here.
Yes.
It will not be broken.
Nah.
Okay. So yeah, man, good stuff, Sean
Yeah.
and Free. It's always good conversation when we're talking,
Right.
and we just want to share some of those conversations with the people.
Yeah. And you talk about the spiritual realm. So the spiritual realm is realer than the physical realm.
Right.
And you is not going to be able to see in the spiritual realm if you is promiscuous, if you is watching pornography and masturbating.
Right.
So this is the main reason that we want you to preserve your sexual energy, live a clean and sober lifestyle, so you can see both of the realm. You can see, the spiritual and the physical realm, because it have demons preying on you. They want you to spill your seed. They want you to have purposeless sex. They
Right.
want you to masturbate so they could take over your body. They could hijack you. Like, it's spirits
Right,
out there that
right,
will
right.
hijack you and
Agreed.
push you further into lust.
Right.
But they closed this up though.
Right. No, I agree, man. I
Yeah.
mean, and we touched on a bit of things in this that were impactful. And we want to keep coming, giving the people the messages, just through our conversation. And if you can take anything from it, or we've helped you, elevate, we've done our job.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the job, and just having the conversations, and this will be just a conversational piece of the free will experience, and we'll be right back with you guys for the next episode. All right, so stay tuned, y'all. Appreciate it.